And aloha! Welcome to the BlueNote Fan Report. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. Today I'm joined on the post-game show by Lance, the man to Scott from the Drop Hockey Podcast, and Gabriel Foley, the last word on the last word of the last word from Last Word on Hockey. Hey guys, welcome. What a disappointing game. You win those games. You win these games, and this is absolutely disappointment, plain and simple.
You know what? I was thinking that whole third period. I was like, how can I turn the mess of a game that this was into a positive? And I thought of a couple big ways. One, the Blues broadcast team, Panger, talked about this a bit. David Perron and Plager were super close, and I think Perron had a pretty good game. You could see he was playing with an edge. He was strong. He was physical. He was hard to get the puck from. He did all the stuff that Perron needs to do. You know, he's usually just a shooter, but I really feel like he carried the puck well. He organized play well, and that Perron, O'Reilly, and Kyrou line was pretty strong throughout the night. But the thing that Bobby would have loved most about this game, we didn't lose a fight. We were physical. We were strong. That Shen fight was awesome. The Sanford fight, the hit probably wasn't the best, but Sanford won the fight. We looked good on the fights. If we're gonna pull any positive out of this game, Bobby would be laughing right now. He would be rewatching the Shen fight a couple of times. We didn't lose a fight. We came out strength-wise. We looked strong. It was setting the basis after a hard last 24 hours for Blues hockey. Let's come out next game at home and make Bobby proud with a huge, huge W. I think he would have been finding positives about tonight, and so I think we need to reward it with a W next game. We have to.
Yeah, that's not bad. Hey, Lance, can you drop your camera down just a little bit so when I put the things up, they don't cover your face?
I don't care if they cover my face.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to be respectful, my friend. Do you see the same thing, Lance? Do you agree with Gabriel there?
I saw some positives, and the positive is I thought the Blues played better than they've been playing. The negative is they're still shooting the puck right into the chest of their opposing goalies. And another thing said at the end of the game by Darren Pang, I don't get it. When the Blues took a timeout, he talked about the great save that Talbot had just made on Perron. Perron shot it right into his logo. That's not a great save. It's a save, but it's not a great save. Talbot played pretty good. But I would venture to tell you, probably out of all of the shots, and I didn't keep track of them, but there had to be at least 16, 17 shots that were right between the bottom of his logo to the top of his logo. And I know you want to put pucks on net, and it's great but if the guy's not allowing rebounds, or there's nobody there to deflect it, or there's nobody there to get a rebound, it does no good to shoot a puck right at a guy's chest. You've got to have guys around. You've got to have guys around, and I do agree with Gabe that there are some positives to take away. The Blues didn't look as much outmatched as they did against the Golden Knights. I thought they were physically and mentally into the game more. So I think that's definitely a positive. You have to look at positives. When you lose a game like this 2-0, the one goal you can't blame Bennington. Other people say the other goal, it wasn't his fault. I put a little bit of that onto him because he didn't close that gap next to his chest there. And that's where he shot it, and that's exactly what he was looking at the whole time when he shot it. Most of that is not on Bennington, but a little bit of it is. And but anytime your goalie only lets in 2 goals and you lose, there's normally something wrong. And they really need to improve on being consistent, on finding those shots that will allow them to get people in front of the net. And like they said during the broadcast, they can't see why that they can't get people in front of the net. I don't get it either. Because they got guys chasing the puck handler out by the face-off circle when the Blues are in the offensive zone. The defenses do. Somebody, at least one person, you should be able to get in front of the net. Pat Maroon did it all the time. Alex Steen, not a big guy, did it all the time. You've got to have somebody in front of that net all the time. I mean, you have to. And even on the goals that Minnesota didn't, or the Wild didn't score, they a lot of times had guys in front of the net.
I
Yeah.
will say I pulled up the shot chart of all of the shots they had tonight. 9 came from the slot. 9. So that's not great. That's what, less than 25%.
About
So
that.
Yeah,
yeah, just back that up.
well, they had 37 shots on goal, and I don't know how many missed in that, but they had 16 blocks. I mean, you're taking 50 shots at the net. You got to score. You know, and if you're taking that many shots, it was what was said in the last game. I think they only took 16 shots, and Panger made the remark, and I know you got really upset about this, Lance. Berube told him that we want to wear the goalie out until it's time to to get shots on him. They didn't. You don't wear the goalie out by hitting him in his chest. You wear him out by making him move to his left, move to his right, passing across the crease, getting him moving, getting pucks behind the net, so he's constantly looking back and forth. They didn't do any of that in my eyes.
Yeah, and Panger, he was alluding to not necessarily making the goalie tired. He was alluding to the heavy game, getting the other team physically wore out by playing heavy. And then once you have them wore out, they make mistakes, and then you can have 2-on-1s, 3-on-2, so on and so forth. But, like I said in the last game, that's just a crazy way to look at it. Because what if you play the game heavy all game and the other team doesn't get wore out because they're in good shape and they score 2 goals against your guys? Or Vegas where they had 3-1. You've got to make adjustments. When you're behind and you can see that the other team is putting, is getting quality chances, maybe not as many of chances as you are, you've got to change things up. I thought offensively the Blues were open a lot more tonight. Did it equal goals? No, but I think that's a step in the right direction. A lot of people think you just run around the damn ice rink hitting people. That's not what the game is. You hit people when you have the opportunity to. You hit people when you're forechecking to make sure you can get that puck out of the corner or along the boards. You don't just hit somebody just to be hitting somebody because you have a so-called heavy game. The Blues need to find a fine balance. Somebody earlier told me the Blues aren't a strong defensive team anymore. They're a finesse team. No, the Blues are not a finesse team. They have guys that can score, but you can't rely on being heavy every game. If you're behind 3-0 and you're still trying to beat the crap out of them, you've lost the game in the third period. You're not going to come behind from 3-0 still playing that I'm going to knock your teeth out until I get a scoring opportunity. I saw a lot more offensive prowess tonight, but like I said, did it equal anything? No. But like Gabriel said, we've got to look at the positive, and maybe next game, some of that prowess that they showed better tonight than they did against Vegas will show up at home.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. That's kind of, something's got to change. Something has to change. Now, we got the Ducks the next 2 games, and we've owned the Ducks. So we can't
but don't
just
sleep
look
on
at
them.
what they do against the Ducks and say, okay, great, we've rerighted the ship. We can't say we righted the ship until we beat Vegas. We beat Minnesota. We beat the Avalanche.
We beat Los Angeles. We can't
Los
do that at
Angeles,
all.
yeah. That's the thing. We haven't, and that's what I'm afraid of is that a lot of, playing the Ducks next, we're going to beat the Ducks. I have no doubt in my mind.
Don't sleep on them.
Watch it,
Don't
guys.
sleep on the Ducks.
Earlier today, because somebody had sent me a DM, out of the Blues, 24 games remaining, I think is what they had before tonight's game. I might be off a game. But they asked me, how many games do you think the Blues need to win to make the playoffs? I said, well, I'd be comfortable with 16, those 16-8. 14-10 isn't going to get you in the playoffs. 15-9 might, if the Wild get tired from playing all those games at the end of the season. But I think they've got to win 16 games to get in the playoffs. And right now, with the way they're playing, and I think Jeremy will probably agree with me and you too, Guy. I don't think they can win 16 out of 24 games.
I don't. No, they're
No, I you can't sleep on the Ducks because the Ducks
Nope.
right now, as much as they're reeling and they're one of the worst teams in the NHL, they're getting youth and their youth players. Hi, buddy. Hi. Their youth players are taking advantage. You had the cat last time. I've got dogs this time. The youth is taking advantage in Anaheim, and the Blues might be facing their new rookie goaltender come tomorrow or Saturday.
Yeah,
I think it's Saturday, or is it Sunday? What's
yeah,
the
that is possible.
Yeah.
It does. I will just say this, that I am concerned.
And you know another thing is, Guy,
Yes,
this
sir.
is the second straight game where the Blues have lost to a team that played the night before.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
that's something that you need to make sure that doesn't happen. You need to make sure you wear them out. You don't have to be heavy to wear somebody out. Make them skate around a lot. Make them fight for the puck. And, you know, any team should have a little bit of advantage, especially as the game goes on, especially in the third period. But the Blues didn't look like the team that was rested in the third period. The Wild looked like a team that hadn't played last night, and that has to stop.
Yeah.
One thing,
Well, I
one
mean,
thing
the
worth
Wild only
noting-
took what, 8 shots or 11 shots, something like that. You know, I'm frustrated.
What
Well,
were you
guys,
gonna say,
before,
Gabe
Go
was
ahead,
going to
Gabe.
say something.
oh, I'm sorry, I missed. Go ahead, Gabe.
I'm sorry, guys. I was going to say the Blues, I believe, had 22 games left. And it's the hard stretch. They've hit their schedule is finally getting tough. It's no more Los Angeles, no more Arizona. Oh, they have one more game against Arizona.
Yep.
But they have
And we have one
8
more game against Los Angeles. We have one that's yet to be
Do we?
scheduled.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yep.
right. I completely forgot about that.
Yep.
But out of this next slate of games, 8 games against Colorado, 7 games against Minnesota, and
Now, it
I
shouldn't be 8 games
believe-
against Colorado. It should be 6 because we've already played them twice.
Oh, Hockey Reference shows. Oh, you're right. It is 6. I counted it wrong.
Okay.
Numbers aren't my specialty. 6 games against Colorado, 7 against Minnesota, and 4 against Vegas.
Yep.
So that is what, 17 games, 16,
17
17
games.
games.
That's your meat.
That's
No, you've
hard.
got- You're done with the Sharks. You've got one against the Kings, one against Phoenix, and I think 3 against the Ducks.
Yeah, and out of those
You know?
games, I think you've got to win out of those games there against those 3 teams. You've got to win 12 or 13 of those games because they're in front of you. You've got to catch up
Yeah.
to them. They're already ahead of you. And the Wild are now ahead of us, 43 points to 37 points.
Yeah.
No, so we're struggling, and that's just the nicest thing to say. We are struggling, but I got some good news to talk about here, real quick, guys. You guys all know that I run a pick'em contest, and through my pick'em contest, someone who was playing it really liked it and owns a company, and decided that they were going to sponsor the pick'em contest for the month of April and May. So Forrest Crump Enterprises, they're a construction company, are going to, here we go. I'm trying to find the right thing. They're going to sponsor the contest for this month or for next month. I'll have their number for you. This card will go up on the website. You guys can see it, check them out. But what you're really going to like is what the first place prize is. This is the first place prize. And there it is. That is a Justin Falk signed nameplate sign. The one that goes over his locker.
Yeah, cool.
That is absolutely, authenticated, signed. I'm going to have someone pick it up from St. Louis for me. I'm also going to have 3 mystery pucks. With that, we're going to give more prizes away this next month. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a first, second, and third like I've been having. Then I'm going to have 3 or 4 to 5 more prizes that'll be drawing numbers, right? So for every 5 points you get, you will get a ticket in. From 0 to 5, you get 1 ticket, and then every 5 points after that, you get an extra ticket. And then I'll pick, and you can win up to 1 prize. So the guys that win the first 3 prizes can't win anymore, but I'm going to hopefully give away at least 1 mystery puck and then some other stuff. So that's what's going on with the Pick'em contest. But if you guys want this to continue happening, right? Oh, Sean said, I'll pick it up for you, guy. Yeah, I bet you I wouldn't see it again. If you want for this stuff to continue and for me to have these great prizes next season, you've got to at least call my sponsors and say, hey, I need an estimate. Come out, check this out for me. Hey, I saw what you're doing for the BlueNote fan report, for St. Louis fan report. So I'd be interested in having you come. I got this work. Can you come look at it for me?
Yeah, and
let them know.
I can tell you from living in Illinois and around the Metro East, they have a very good reputation. So if you're worried about like some of the bigger companies who will come and give you this outrageous quote, and I'm not going to name some of those companies, I don't do that. But please check them out, guys. If you want an estimate on anything, new roof, new siding, new anything like that, they can definitely give you a good estimate. And I don't say that to just about anybody. I'm not going to put my name out there, and Guy's not going to put his name out there just to get a puck to give away. So, yeah, please call Brian there at Forest Crump Enterprises, and they'll definitely take care of you for any of your construction needs.
Hey, and not only that, you got to understand what Brian's doing to do this contest. He's winning this month, right? Oh, McGongle's here. Hey, buddy. He's winning this month, and he likes to compete. He can't win the prizes next month. But he's still willing to do this because he believes in what we're doing, and it's absolutely fun. Sorry, guys, that I had to do a little business there. I mean, that's just the way things go.
Hey, Guy. Before we go on another topic, I know Jeremy's tried to get in a couple times, and either I talk or somebody else says something. Okay. Jeremy, what was you wanting to say earlier?
I was just going to say that Colorado, you guys, we've got 6 games against the Avalanche.
Yeah.
Well, they're not helping us any. The Knights scored 1 goal in the first 40 seconds. Max Pacioretty, back from injury, scored. The Avs are up 4-1. The Knights can't stop Colorado. What if we can't stop Vegas? How in the hell are we going to stop Colorado?
And it's a good point.
I've been watching the Colorado games, and Vegas and Colorado are definitely the 2 best in the division. Blues fans, I'm sorry, you don't think I love the Blues, but I love the Blues, and I wish I could say they were one of the top 2 teams in the league, maybe by the division. By the end of the year, that's possible. But right now, those teams are the cream of the crop and above the Wild, the Blues, the Kings, the Ducks, everybody else. From top to bottom, if you watch full games of theirs, even if you just watch the extended highlights for 10 minutes, you can tell that both of those teams, before the Blues even played the Knights this year, you can tell both those teams are going to give the Blues problems and everybody problems.
Yeah. And Jason Nichols makes a really good point. He says, vice versa, why is LA smash certain teams' numbers? And it's it's a true statement, and it does happen. You do get matchups. You do, and I'm going to get flame sprayed, but I'm going to stick behind this statement. We are being outcoached. We are being outcoached in every game in the last 2 weeks. Right? Even our wins, we're being outcoached. And
if you listen to my podcast, I basically say the same thing. We just put out a new podcast today. And I do agree with you. A lot of people, I'm getting hate for saying that. And I don't hate Craig Berube. He did an excellent job that second half of the season. It took him about 8 to 11 games being their coach to get things going in the right direction. And once those players got confidence and once Bennington was playing, They just shot out of the gate, and I can tell you right now, they were playing so well that I doubt he had to make a lot of adjustments then. But right
Yeah.
now, you can tell this team isn't making adjustments. I mean, I don't think Guy's wrong with that, and I don't think I'm wrong with that. It's got nothing to do with Craig Berube. I think he's a very good coach. Gabriel, what do you think? I mean, do you think that Berube it might be responsible for some of the issues? I'm not blaming it all on him, but do you feel the same way that most of the rest of us do?
Yeah, I do. And I think Berube's big thing is, and we're seeing him learn. We're seeing him grow, and I'm
Yeah,
so proud of him. He used to be so stuck to his lines. Now he's getting creative. He's switching them up a bit. Uh, yeah, I think he can can take the blame for some of it, and I also think he's growing a bit. We're watching a young toddler of a coach learn to walk. I think, if you want to
Uh,
word it that.
yeah,
some ways, but I'm going to throw this in you. And Ashley Jones made this comment earlier, and I showed it, but I didn't talk about it. Why is Wallman on the ice and not Mikola? I'm telling you,
right.
Mikola is better than Wallman.
That's crazy.
Wallman tonight made mistake after mistake, and someone else said it. I heard him say on Twitter, he's more of a forward than a defenseman. Absolutely, get him off the damn ice and put Mikola, who's a speedy defenseman who can defend and play offense, and not a guy that can't play defense.
Yeah, I can tell you that was one of the complaints on him in Philly when he was there for 3 years, is that he had issues making changes, and he would play players over other players when the other player was definitely more talented and had definitely more upside. But the reason he played that player was he thought he could be a little more physical, and I think that kind of hits him. It kind of hits him sometimes. It makes him look really bad. And they loved him in Philly at first, and then the players kind of turned on him a little bit. And like Gabriel said, though, I do see him making some strides, because just because you've coached a team for 3 years doesn't mean you're ready to be a great coach. It takes years and years of coaching, assistant coaching, and heck, some guys don't get it till they've had head coaching opportunities for 2 or 3 times. And I think he's getting better at some things, but I do think there's a lot for him to work on, like in-game changes. When he sees his team behind 2-0, 3-0 in the third period, he doesn't tend to try to open things up as much. He will sometimes, and he'll have those defensemen pinch in sometimes. But in my mind, when you're down 3-0, you've just got to give it all you got. You got to change some things up. And like I said, I think he's a good coach, but he's not as great as people say he is. And I love the fact he won a Stanley Cup. But Jeremy, the other team, brought out a good point about Pittsburgh after they won a Stanley Cup. And what was that, Jeremy?
They got rid of Dan Bilesma like halfway through the season because he sucked. He did.
Yeah,
Bilesma
he
was,
did.
and it's the same way with Mike Sullivan. I love Sullivan to death. He's a great coach, but he is so stuck in his ways. He's kind of like Craig Berube. He is stuck in his ways. He will not change lines.
Yep.
He will not mix it up. But they're so beat up right now that we couldn't get rid of Sullivan if we wanted to.
No.
And
Also think,
with Berube, man, it's just like if they don't do something, like especially if they miss the playoffs this year, I think we're seeing Berube off you go.
I don't think so, because Armstrong loves him too much. And I definitely know the fans. I know the St. Louis fans better than anybody, probably just as well as all three of you. And those fans, especially newer ones, will say, well, we won a cup back in 19. Yeah, we got to give him a break, you know. And, you know, I understand that in one way, but you can't just let the talent the Blues have, especially young talent, be wasted. And I'm not saying it is being wasted right now. I'm just saying that if your coach isn't working out, I don't care if he won a Stanley Cup for 3 years and 2 years later, your team's out of the playoffs 2 years in a row. Those Stanley Cups don't mean anything to me. You want to be
Yeah,
able to
no.
compete. You know, everybody says, well, the Blues made the playoffs for 25 years straight. That's great. But what did they do in those playoffs? Your goal every year should not be just to make the playoffs. Your goal should be to compete for a cup. Whether you can, that's a different story, but that should always be your goal. I know in Pittsburgh, when Lemieux was there, I know Crosby there. That's their goal every year. And I hate Boston. That's Boston's goal every year is to be in the Cup Finals. Almost every team, that's their goal. Guys, we can't be satisfied with just the playoffs. We can't be satisfied with one cup in 50 some odd years. We can be happy about it. But if 2 years down the road, Berube's still doing the same thing and making the same mistakes, just like every other coach, he's going to have to be questioned about it and see what's going to happen.
We cannot fire him in the middle of the season without
No.
very explicit rules that Steve Ott cannot become head coach.
Thank you.
I never want to see the day where Ott is
you.
the man on the bench.
Well,
He
you
might
know,
be the
but
man
see,
of the
here's
bench
something
in
that's been
Buffalo.
floated around very heavily is Ott going to Buffalo.
That's
stupid.
really. I'll have to bug
Yeah,
some
there's
people
been
about
some
it. I haven't
talk
heard
about
yet.
that.
It's either going to be, I think it's either going to be Otter or it's going to be Lehman from University of Providence.
I think
rumors,
I think Lehman will get it, and I'm going to tell you, I like Steve Ott. If he is going to get a head coaching job, which I don't think he's ready for one, but if he is going to get one, I don't think he is dumb enough to take that job at Buffalo. As long as that owner's there, and as long as that GM's there, and as long as Jack Eichel doesn't have somebody there to keep him accountable, which I'm going to tell you, if Ott took that job, Mr. Eichel's going to run to the owner anytime something's wrong. That's the type of guy he is. He wants control of the locker room. He's a good young player, but I think he would butt heads with Steve Ott instantly.
Yeah. No, and Ashley Jones, right? You know, she states under the gun, like Guy wrote. Honestly,
Yeah.
You know, and I think about that article. You might want to read that one, Gabriel. I wrote it right at the beginning of the season, and I said the original title was "Ruby's toughest test is he under a bit of a gun," and I got blame sprayed for that article.
Yeah.
Blame sprayed. And I
remember.
constantly heard, no, a cup's worth 3 years. I constantly heard that. All I was trying to say was that, look, the condensed schedule, the loss of Pietrangelo, the loss of some of the injuries and Tarasenko and all these things, and the not being able to trade anybody, all that is this is his test. And I don't think he's going to pass it. Right?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
being under a gun doesn't mean you're going to get fired, but it means that there's pressure on you.
Yeah.
And people took it the wrong way.
Yeah, I don't think he's passing it right now. I would give him a C. He's barely passing it. I wouldn't give him a D or F. He is a good coach. Is he a great coach? I don't think he's at that point yet. But like Gabriel said, I think he's made some adjustments since he was with Philly. He's learned a little bit. And we all know as the older we get, we make adjustments. You know, like Gabriel said, he's written the hockey articles for 7 years. I'm sure he'll tell you that he's much better now at doing it than he was 7 years ago. It takes adjustments. Yeah. But, you know, he's got to be making them. 2 years from now, if the Blues don't make the playoffs 2 out of 3 years, I don't see him being here. His contract is up in a couple years, and I think Armstrong's is either the year after or the same year. And I think both of them are under the gun. You know, just because you win a cup 2 years ago, you know, like Jeremy's given the example of Pittsburgh's coach, just because you win that cup, you need to continue to try to win that cup and put your players in a position to win a cup. Just because you win a cup doesn't mean you can sit back and go, I'm a Stanley Cup winning coach. Bowman didn't do it. Al Arbor didn't do it. Any of the coaches Pittsburgh's had, you know, for all their other cup runs, most of them didn't do it. Their goal every year was to win a cup, and I just don't know if that's Berube's goal.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I'm looking at, I go back to the bubble, right? Prior to the bubble, this team, well, I mean, they were first in the West, but Colorado was coming, and they were starting to have a little bit of a downstream. I mean, everyone forgets, but they had lost a couple of games. There was no guarantee they were going to win that division. Mm-hmm. And there was a good chance that that division was going to come down to the last day against Colorado in St. Louis. There was a good chance that was going to happen. there was, from that point on, yes, I know some guys got COVID, and I know there was never a buy-in in the bubble. And that's on the coach. I'm sorry, that's absolutely on the coach. This team was the defending champs. They let 1/1000th of a second disrupt their entire thought process. That's on the coach. And I'm sorry, I'm going that way. That's on the coach.
Yeah, well, people say, well, coaches can only coach so much, and the players have to do the next thing and follow, his game plan. I fully agree with that. But if the game plan is not what it should be, and it's the same thing night out and night out, play heavy. We got to play heavy. We got to get our offensive chances off of playing heavy. We got to hit. We got to play heavy. You know what? You got to make adjustments, every team. When you play Pittsburgh, when they were at their best and they were one of the fastest teams, you couldn't catch up to them to get too many good hits on. So playing heavy against them when they were that good didn't work. Now, when they started to slow down a bit and losing some of their players, and Crosby started getting beat up a little bit, you saw some of the kinks in their armor. But you can't go into every game with the exact same game plan. And a lot of times, I see the way they start and the way that they're playing, and you can tell he has a very similar same game plan. There's no difference from game to game.
Yeah, well, first of all, everyone, this is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. You're watching the Blue Note Fan Report on St. Louis Fan Report Network. I'm joined by Lance Scott from the Drop Hockey Podcast, Gabriel Foley from Last Word on Sports, and Gabriel's becoming a great fan of ours, and I appreciate him so much. And then we have Jeremy the Fox Miller, our producer and the man about town. Hey, can you give us a quick update on the out-of-towners there, Jeremy?
Yes, actually, I've just looked in. The Stars and the Lightning are now tied with 3 minutes to go in the third. It is 3-3 there. And the third period puck just dropped for the Avalanche and the Knights, and it's still 4-1 Avs.
So, I'm kind of just, I don't know how, I'm lost. This game, first of all, I shouldn't be completely disappointed because the Blues have not played well in emotional games in the past. Remember the Ari game after Ari died. Remember Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. When there's an emotional game, for some reason they don't come out well. But I thought this one might be different. And with Shin coming out with that fight right off that was awesome. That was what needed to happen. And not just that, the hip checks they were trying to throw and the things like that. But for them to never get together and play, they didn't play as a team today. I'll say that. I didn't see them playing as a team. They may have got 37 shots, but they were not playing as a cohesive team. They didn't get a lot of zone time. They weren't in the zone. They weren't getting a shot and then getting it back and taking another. It felt like a lot of one and dones.
Did you hear about, or did you happen to catch Shen's interview after the game?
No, I
about
didn't.
What happened with the fight?
No.
He said, and I quote, 5 goals or 5 hits or 5 shots. Certainly didn't get any of that, but I guess I got a 5-minute penalty for Bobby. He was a special man and is going to be dearly missed. So that's what it was. He dropped him for Bob.
Oh, I figured. Gabriel, I got to ask you this because you've been covering the Blues for 7 years now, and with everything that you've seen from the good teams to the bad teams and all of this, well, let's get back to the question I asked before we went to postgame, before we went into the intermission. With Bobby gone now, he leaves a banner-sized hole in the heart of the organization, and the problem with this is that a lot of what community involvement was there was from Bobby, right? The sponsors and things like that, they wanted Bobby. Well, now we don't have a Bobby. So who takes that mantle? I know who I think should take that mantle, but unfortunately he doesn't live in St. Louis anymore. And this is really something that not just the organization, but the fans need to say, hey, we need somebody like Bobby.
Yeah, I had a few people ask me that on various social medias last night, and I think the easiest, most obvious answer is turning to St. Louis's Frank Gallagher, Brett Hull, and putting Brett Hull, making Brett Hull the face. But I don't know if Brett would be up for. I mean, I don't know if he could fill the shoes that Bobby filled. It's so incredible the impact and the role that Bobby had. So then I started thinking, we have guys like Hull, uh, Keith Kachuk. I can never just say Kachuk. I have to say Keith
Yeah.
Kachuk, or I
Yep. Oh
feel weird
well.
about it. Keith Kachuk, still in St. Louis, still a diehard for the Blues organization. Cam Jansen, all these guys. We have the heritage kept in St. Louis. And I
Right.
think to truly fill the shoes that Bobby had, we're going to have to see all those guys come together um, to just try and match our input. Jason in the chat with the great point, Bernie,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kelly Chase,
Yeah.
Panger, all of them. I
Tony.
just,
Yeah,
Actually, it's going to fall on someone who I think is going to reluctantly accept it, and that's going to be Bruce Affleck, right? He's been with the organization almost as long as Bobby. He was here, got here in the early 70s, came back after his playing career was over, and has been in every part of the organization. And now, in his later years, he's running the alumni association. But it's really going to take. I mean, it's a huge hole. It really is, and it's not just a hole in our lives. It's a hole in this organization, and financially, it's a hole because Bobby brought money to that organization. That there's no doubt in my mind that Bobby brings money to that organization. And right now, both Hull and Chase, a lot of people don't realize this, live in Memphis or Nashville. They moved to Nashville, right? They're not in St. Louis continually. It's going to have to be someone who's made St. Louis their home. It's going to have to be Kachuk. Maybe Mike Zook. He's out there in the community. Maybe he gets a little more involved now. Trust me, I know he's hurting. He's already told me. There's.
I definitely think it's going to take a group of them. I really do, because a lot of the alumni that are here are involved in youth hockey. They're very busy with youth hockey, and you don't want them taken away from that because you want hockey to continue to grow in the city. So I think it's going to take a plethora of guys to do it. You're going to have one guy that's good at this, go out to the hospitals and take, current players with him. You're going to have one guy that maybe goes to schools. You're going to have one guy. I think it's just going to take a committee to do that because a lot of these other guys have other things going on. And I'm not saying Bobby didn't, but Bobby made sure that that was first of what he did. And these other guys, I'm not saying they're bad for not making that first. They all
No.
love the Blues, and like you said, Mike Zook. I'm sure Mike Zook would love to do his part to carry things on. But I think realistically, it's going to take a few guys as a team to do it. And I think that way you don't stretch anybody too thin. They can still take care of their other responsibilities, but yet they can still represent the city. And I think that's the best way to go about it in my mind.
Yeah.
I can't help but think. I am a huge Alex Petrangelo fan. I loved him. I knew him while he was in Peoria, and I loved him even more when he was here. But, Guy, you said it. I've seen the highs and lows of this Blues team, and there's such a passionate team. And so when something goes wrong, when something slips up, when someone like Bobby passes away, or when someone gets traded, they have to have a leader to look towards. Binnington served that role when he came in, and that's why we won the cup. They had someone to put their faith in. And I can't help but think Alex Petrangelo, if he were here right now, he would be handling this situation perfectly. And so I think the not only are the holes showing through in terms of Bobby's absence, but Petrangelo's as well. And the Blues truly, going back to what you asked me during the second intermission, what's missing? I think it's that guy to pour your faith into, the guy to really drive the passion of the locker room. And we're gonna not only need to see the alumni step up, which I know they will, and I can't wait to see what the Blues alumni does in this next year and a half, because they're going to make it their mission. The Blues alumni are probably the most devout alumni in the league, truly. But we also need to see guys like Tarasenko, Ryan O'Reilly with the new C on his jersey, Braden Chen. We're going to need to see those guys step up, both in the light of Bobby's passing and in the light of their poor performance over the last few games. The Blues need that leader, and Bobby's passing showed us how badly we needed it. Tonight we were missing a leader. And so I think there's so much that this highlights for the Blues organization. Bobby's still making an impact. Everything he does makes an impact for the Blues organization. And it's going to be incredible to see how the team, how the city, how the state rebounds from all this and where we go from this. Because I know it's going to, in one way or another, St. Louis hockey's coming out for the better. And we're going to see some guys really, really step up as leaders for our amazing little city we got here.
Well, here's something that I'm going to get flame sprayed for. ORR has the passing. He's just trying to take it all on his shoulders. Abso-frickin-lutely. ORR, yes. Stop going to the podium and saying it's on me. I'm sorry. He needs to go to the podium and say, we need to be better, all of us, period. Not, I have to be better. No, we need to be better. Because we're not. He needs to, I'm sorry. This is what Pietrangelo, and I wasn't a huge Pietrangelo fan, and I wasn't, for the money he left with, okay, that was, we have Bennington now because we didn't pay that money. We have Falk, our Krug, because we didn't pay that money, right? We have 2 or 3 guys because we didn't pay that money. So I'll take that. But I need, Pietrangelo would call the team out, right? He would say, the veterans aren't doing enough, right? Tarasenko needs to sink that shot. He would say that in public. And it worked. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But he was willing to take that stab. And I really think right now that, oops, I lost Lance here for a second. I'm hoping they didn't have a power flicker again. But I think that at the same, ORR has to do that now. And I've thought about this, and I even asked Ashley Weiss, is the weight of the sea wearing on him? And I really think it is.
See, I think Ryan, he did it in Buffalo. He put that team on his back. And that's just the type of guy he is. He's going to put the team on his back, and he's going to try and, carry the load. But the thing with Ryan is he can't carry it all. The things that he did to help Bobby while he was alive and the things that he's doing for this team right now is amazing. But he can't do it alone. That's why he has assistant captains. His assistant captains have to step up and help take some of that load off. Because if they don't, Ryan O'Reilly's going to break down. And I hate to say it, but he's not young. He's getting up there. We might be seeing him slowly declining and his career.
I'm not completely sure of that. I think he's 28 or 29. I don't think he's hit 30 yet. But
he turned 30 this year.
He turned 30 this year. So, but still, even then, I don't think we're going to see a huge decline from him the way he plays. I want to see them do so much more than what they're doing, and that's all. And what, who am I to say that, oh, they should be doing more? I'm just a fan. Well, this stuff costs money. And if I'm willing to pay money for this, I got the right to say something.
Right.
And that's the way I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not, but we need to see better from this team. And, Jeremy, you did nail it on there. You're right. But at the same time, this team has got to take some responsibility for itself. And I really do put a lot on Berube right now.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're about out of time. Gabriel, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you guys got going over on Last Word on Sports?
Yeah, that's where it's all prepping for the trade deadline right now. We're churning out rumors day after day, and trade deadline's coming up fast, April 12th. So a lot of interesting rumors coming out, a lot of good stuff. We're getting going. This is always the best time of the year. Trade deadline is the best time of the year.
Also must help that Canada just lowered their quarantine from 14 to 7 days. So that's just going to help a lot of cross-country trades.
Yeah.
Hey, Gabriel. My ear's open, buddy. Some of them rumors can start slipping them my way, my friend.
I haven't heard anything Blues related just yet. I will keep you guys posted when I do. I know.
If you got any Pens ones, I'm right here.
Ooh, I don't know about that either. I'll keep you guys posted for sure. It's all Canada stuff right now.
I know the biggest one is Raquel to the Leafs.
Yeah,
but
testing goalie waters now and stuff.
I heard Jonathan Quick maybe to Toronto to be with Jack Campbell again. It's like what? What's wrong with Frederick Anderson?
Yeah, I know. There's a lot going on right now. Well, guys, thank you so much. And as I said, next month's contest being sponsored by Forrest Crump Enterprises Construction Company. Let me throw this up here real quick so everybody can see this again. What did I do? Oh, I took it down. Never mind. I'll have to show it later. I'll put it up on my website. You guys, thank you so much for making the Blue Note Fan Report what it is. Gabriel, I appreciate you. And you're welcome anytime, man. So if I happen to just send you an invite and you can't get on, you can't get on. If you can, you can, So I'm really enjoying the talk. And Jeremy, you're a great producer. You do a lot for us. And I still can't hit the right buttons. So this is Guy, Hawaii Blues fan, saying aloha, mahalo. I'm bleeding blue at you, and I'll catch you all on the next Blue Note Fan Report, the pregame show tomorrow.